Sweet, all good.
Welcome back to the OPL. I mean, look, that game, I thought it would be over. At one point, we nearly stood up to go, all right, it's time to come down. We're ready for game number 2. And then the game doubled in length.
Then
We get some great Baron
Chazzed
fights.
it up.
Chazzed it up.
Yeah.
Those hot lips went hardcore.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
a weird
they gave him
statement.
a Valentine's special. Maybe a bit of bromance. I don't know. Where are we going with this?
I was happy that Avant bounced back in the game.
Yeah.
Because that was one of those games where it looked like it was the order game all over again, right? The one from most recent memory where they just got run over from a teleport play. And similarly, this game was 3,000 gold, I think, at 11 minutes or something like that, which is just astronomical. And then the fact that they kept it so cool and they looked for their own team fights, I expected them to play a hell of a lot more aggressive. They played pretty reserved still.
High
But
School Disco.
Yeah, high school disco game.
I think, it was actually. No one wanted to dance with anyone.
Opposite sides of the
Yeah.
floor, no one in the middle.
Yeah, but I think, it is what it is, and I think that they would still be learning from that. Direwolves wouldn't be happy with that game either, by any stretch of the imagination. They would have felt like they had it won after laning phase, and then they kind of stuffed it up a little bit.
Well, so Direwolves potentially a little disappointed, but ultimately get the win. AV a little disappointed because they didn't get the win. Let's inspire the people. Let's give them something to be happy about.
Is that what this segment was supposed to
celebrate
do?
Valentine's Day. I don't know what yours is like. We have written some Valentine's Day poems, OPL-themed poetry. The remit was just a poem about the OPL player, team, concept, caster. Doesn't really matter.
We could have done casters?
You could have done anything.
Can I just read my
I
mind
said
right now?
anything. I said write a poem about anything to do with the
You did,
OPL.
and then you listed everything but casters. Because if
I
I
would
had
love-
known I was able to do caster/host, I would have had 3 poems.
I would love to read right now.
You could do something in the next break. Okay. We're gonna go
casting
from
games, Nick.
smallest, apparently.
Smallest, yeah.
Yeah.
Smallest poem. I was about to say, I think Skimmy's taller than me, but
I was
Yeah,
wondering,
let's say I was talking about poems.
Let's go by order of who can deadlift the most.
I don't
Okay.
even get to read mine then.
so disclaimer, I'm not that good at this kind of stuff, right? You can have a look at this. This is how small it is. Okay, I've got to try and be really dramatic. I joined the OPL. It's going pretty swell. Do I miss New Zealand? Oh well. How good is that?
I liked it.
It's short, it's sharp, and it's going to get all my friends back home really, really pissed off.
And so is the
It's up
New
for
Zealand?
interpretation.
I don't care about
It's
it anymore.
enigmatic.
It's really it's just going to get everyone divided. I'm just going to sit there, just kind of like a puppeteer,
Oh, interesting. You're stoking.
You're more upset about it than
stoking
me.
Online flame.
Yes.
All right. That was good.
I tried really hard.
Look, I think you did good for your first. Is that your first poem?
My first ever poem.
I think that's good.
That's nice.
For a non-English speaker, I think you did really well.
Yeah, that's good. I'm done. I'm done.
Good.
Write it
Oh,
off.
God.
Oh,
The
dear.
absolute hammer thrown to New Zealand between the two of you in the last 30 seconds. All right, Jake.
So I wrote 2.
That's nice. Do you want to do them back to back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're both haikus. So the first one is for my love-hate relationship team.
Yeah.
And it goes,
I assume it's order.
leaves on a cool breeze, legacy begin to rise, MEO abound. That's my first poem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That
was very moving.
Yeah. I was expecting some sort of twist where it would become. Yeah, but that was actually just real sweet.
It was objectively good, not satire.
Yeah, no, I took this segment seriously. I did literature for 4 years, guys.
You didn't choose to use this to start a war between us and New Zealand?
No, absolutely not.
All right.
And then my second one, a little bit more cheeky, but once again a haiku. So it's Melbourne, by the way. Order continue to build. Spawns children thrive.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's
there we
very
go.
nice.
They're my 2 poems.
There you go. That's a good haikus.
They're
Look how
both
proud that
haikus.
face is.
What do you mean? I thought we were supposed to do poems.
They are. what are you talking about?
You guys are just rhymey boys. I guarantee
I
you
love
guys
rhymey
are
boys.
Oh, but come on.
Rhymey boys.
Come on. Rusty, you had a unique
All right.
way of doing this.
Yeah, so I decided to do a random generator for my first one because I didn't know what to do. And it kind of gave me the theme for the rest of my poems. So I'll just...
How many poems do you have?
3.
There's 3 poems.
They're quick. The
This is
first one
exciting.
I didn't write. So
Is
I
it
wrote
the
two.
first one is the random
Yeah,
generator?
Yeah. So this is a haiku, a new week, mammoth. They win OPL. Surprise Friday. That was randomly generated.
That's
I'm
clever.
not kidding.
what Because I assume you obviously need to put in some keywords.
Yeah.
Was Friday one of those keywords?
Mammoth, Friday, OPL, and winning.
Surprise Friday.
Yeah, Surprise Friday. I like
Surprise Friday is my favorite thing now. Any team wins, Surprise Friday.
So the rest of mine are about Mammoth.
it. Okay.
So this is a limerick about Mammoth. There once was a team from Australia with a roster so strong it can't failure. They won OPL, but how quickly they fell. Their old roster just suddenly bailed you.
That's very good.
Not bad.
And then
That is
I like
very
that.
good.
It's catchy.
You just like rhyming boys. But continue.
No,
And
but like it took me on a journey.
Okay.
I'm not saying yours didn't.
No, that's all right.
But you get
He's so
You just don't understand up.
you get
this
like
journey hasn't finished.
okay.
That
sorry.
was the old Mammoth.
Oh, this is a bard
the new
cosplay.
Mammoth.
Beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
I like it.
There was a young team that competed, whose team was far from completed. They hit up OCal, their average rank fell. Now all their screen says is defeated.
All right, I like Rusty's poems because they're brutal.
Wow.
That's also
Wow.
That is so good.
Rusty's going in.
I put serious time into this. Like,
that is
I'm with
fantastic.
Jake. That was
Yeah, so far we've got like 2 people that actually care about their job and 2 freeloaders, I think.
I wrote a poem. It's very exciting. But I just want to say, I mean, it starts off with AI. You take us on a journey into the past, and then a brutal come down. That was that's just like a good weekend. All right, we're going to go to my poem. So my poem is called OPL Winners. So this is a rising siren song for the team that I think is going to win the split.
Okay.
Like genuine. O is the sound I made when I saw your roster had changed. P is what I do to myself every time you play a game. L is for legacy. Now you're living up to your team name. You'll take this split. You have earned it. Hear me now. This Valentine's Day. And then I just whisper legacy and Harvey Norman over and over again.
that was very good.
Your performance was the best out of all of us.
Thank you very much. There you go, legacy.
We both did Legacy.
Well, I think it's
And this is to all the Legacy fans out there that continually message me about how much I hate your team. I just said something nice about you.
and this
He
is
said something nice about you.
exactly, and this is to Tim, who every time I walk past you in the building, you just give me a grumpy face look. But whenever we're out, I get a hug and a chat. What's that about? I've shown that I love you in this building. You show it back to me. But I think it's because I'm just excited that Legacy, because obviously before I came here, Legacy, to the OPL,
Yep.
Legacy were a storied team.
Yeah.
And then when I came here, they were a dumpster fire.
They were one of the, there was only really 3 teams in the OPL at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Direwolves were always the 3rd place team just below them, and it was always Legacy and Chiefs. So this is actually awesome to see Legacy and Chiefs at the top.
Exactly. And bush after fires, they have sprung anew. So there you go. Our poems. If you'd like to write a poem about the OPL,
Hopefully they don't get
by
flooded.
all means. Hopefully they don't get flooded. Yeah. Welcome to this dumb country, right? Skimmy. If you want to write a poem, please send it in to
Did anyone
asknickboy@gmail.com.
send you one yet?
I actually, honestly, I've not checked the email address. I will check it right now. I mean, this is prepare for big disappointment.
Yeah, because
we've
no one
really
sent a
set
poll.
this up as like.
I like poetry.
It's
I'm
like
very proud of
incorrect
you all.
password.
This is I feel like we've grown closer together as we're not a casting team. What are we? A broadcast unit.
We're a collection of colleagues who are
Squad.
forced to spend time together.
Yeah,
Oh, fools.
exactly as that.
Squadron.
I've got awkward romance stories. I've got something about a wedding cake. The best love story. Oh my god, I have actual love stories. Something about a nurse. And then the thing that just says honk.
Look away, Jeff.
No Jedi.
Okay. So the best love story. Okay, so this is creepy.
It has photos.
Well, Swifty has just sent in pictures of me and him kissing.
Yeah,
There you go.
you certainly did.
Picture number 1. Picture number 2.
MEO last year.
That's cute.
Emilio
though.
last year
That's
and
cute, though.
the year before as well.
Oh, nice.
there you go.
Very nice.
That's the best love story. I love you too, buddy. This is hairy because I am just reading these live, having not read this before. Okay. Hey Nick boy, my other half. This is just about wedding cakes.
Okay.
Hey Nick boy, the other half and I are talking about our wedding more and more. Do you think having a Summoner's Rift as your wedding cake is too much, or the fact that she wants Timo and I want Tryndamere as opposed to the bride and groom on top of the cake? If not, how could I leverage the community to obtain a quote?
No, that's a really good idea. Like a wedding cake in this like Summoner's Rift with Timo fighting Tryndamere. I think that's a hella dope wedding cake.
I think that's super cool.
I got a birthday cake made for me one time by Loserfruit, actually. And it was Summoner's Rift, and it had a Lee Sin on top, and I still have the Lee Sin on my desk. It's one of my, sentimentally, one of my favorite moments.
It's their wedding. You can do what you want as long as you want it.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to please family with your cake. You're cutting the thing.
Confuse your family with your cake. In the same way we all confuse our family whenever they go, what do you do again?
And then the follow-up question, I love this, because they're like, what do you do? And then I explain it again. And then and you get paid for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Mom, get off my back.
There you go. All right, it is time to get into game number 2. It is Gravitas versus
is it
Legacy.
only game 2?
Let's take a look at the Gravitas lineup. Please talk us through it, Skimmy.
Well, Gravitas is the composition. Ooh, with a brand new member.
Nobody beats Puma.
I was going to go for the rhyme there to try and bring another poem, but we're going to have beats in that top lane. It's going to be Praelus in the jungle, Siaman in middle, Puma as the ADC, and K-pop in the bottom lane.
And the elusive human returns to the OPL, Rusty. This guy's been on so many rosters, but he's just never played.
He's a ghost, I swear. He shows up for 2 weeks and then he's gone for a year. And you never see him.
He's got some style
back.
points though. Look at that mask. I'm liking that.
But a prolific assassin player.
Yes.
Like one of the out-and-out assassins within O's. Like LeBlanc, Akali. He will play Echo as well. All of these champions are definitely Human's wheelhouse. Had a mean Ari back in the day as well when he used to play a ton of OCS. This is a guy that a lot of people have always been excited for, but has just never been able to take that step into pro.
And maybe no more Orns. Nobody's not there.
Please, no more.
No more Orns beats. Will he play a mid lane at top?
We'll find out when they take on Legacy. The third point in Jake and my love triangle. Rusty, talk us through Legacy's line.
Top food is your top laner. Baby Bits in the jungle. M&S, a rising star in the mid laner, and then Raze and Isles down there in bot.
Yeah, and really interesting that Jensen Go is listed as their coach. Is he on stage?
He's here.
He is absolutely here. So Singaporean coach Jensen Go. Friends of Fish, so not a friend of mine.
This was Fish's most looking forward to rookie before he was even confirmed.
Absolutely, but obviously worked on a ton of European teams as well as a couple of LMS teams in the past, was most recently on Splice. Good to see another international coach make the trek over to the Oceanic region and hopefully boost the scene.
And competing against another Singaporean today, Omo.
Oh yeah, true. Omo's
Singaporean coach battle happening on Summoner's Rift.
Battles within battles. All right, it is time to get into game number 2. Give us a honk in chat, and we'll see you right after this break.
Honk! Welcome back to the McDonald's Champion Select. We've got the teams getting in to it right now on stage. Excited to see Jensen Go here for the first time. Skimmy, the coach of Legacy. See him pacing furiously behind the boys. It's good to have another pacer
I love
in the
the pace.
OPL.
That would definitely be me if I was on the stage, just ramping back and forward, pumping the energy into that booth and getting the boys amped up for a fantastic game. Game 2 today, Legacy taking on Gravitas. Legacy looking to try and get this one out of the bag really, really quickly to make sure that still they are a contender for that much, much highly anticipated matchup head-to-head against Chiefs next week. But for the meantime, all eyes on these two.
Yeah, absolutely. And interesting bands already. Soraka and Kiana, two champions we haven't seen all that much of in the OPL. Just a couple of curveballs that could be thrown potentially. Skimmy, I expect to see an Elise pick locked in right now, because with all that banned, Elise is certainly the strongest jungler on Summoner's Rift. But
now this is a point that we've talked about a lot. It actually started last week right after he did such a dirty performance on LeBlanc. That is M&S on screen right now, and this guy we were talking about, is he going to start to get respect bans targeting it. It's not going to change in the Gravitas camp. Ornn is the priority every single time, and that won't change today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's hilarious that Rusty's like, oh, nobody's gone. No way Puma plays an Ornn in the top lane, but it's certainly still going to be the lock-in. Ornn as well as the Braum have been locked in. This is interesting, right? Because Braum is one of the best champions at denying Ornn. The other good champion at that is Yasuo. Now, if you've got a LeBlanc on your team, odds are you're not picking a Yasuo this stage of the draft. It's also very interesting that Legacy have just out and out gone 2 blind picks, 2 solo laners. Eat your heart out. We're better than you. We're going to take the stronger picks. We're going to win. M&S. His LeBlanc's filthy.
It really is. I mean, if you look back at that highlight reel where he managed to sort of juke out of the Death Realm on Mordekaiser, then dash across into the Baron Pit, avoid that, and then a Senna laser comes across. Like, this guy is filthy when it comes to those mechanics. So looking forward to seeing if he can replicate that performance once again. And I mean, so far he has. He's smashing it in the farming department, the kill department. I believe actually he had, if I find my stats here, he had the highest kills in a single game out of the league so far. So the guy's a monster.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've seen him do it so far on LeBlanc and Silas. They've been his 2 best picks.
Yeah.
By a long way, right? Not saying he doesn't have any other picks. I'm just saying he hasn't had to show them yet on Summoner's Rift because he seems to just get them whenever he wants them, to be honest. And if you're willing to first pick LeBlanc, especially given there doesn't seem to be really any counterbans there, right? We're not seeing anything like a Lissandra taken off the board. Or a Syndra maybe that you can 1v1 win a skill matchup with. He's just happy to take it into anything. That just does show supreme confidence to me.
Yeah, the straight disrespect that I am a better player than you. So
he also does like 900 damage per second or something, which for context, I think the 80 carries are doing around 480 damage per minute. And he's doing about 900 damage per minute. Obviously, it's really nice that he got boosted up there by a Silas pickup as well.
Yeah. I suppose to put it into context, he does 36% of his team's damage.
Yeah.
You compare that to Beats in the mid lane for Gravitas, Beats is doing 22%.
Yeah.
So, M&S brings a lot to the table, and definitely will be one not afraid to roam around. Identical bot lane here for Gravitas as we saw in the last game from the Direwolves and the Rek'Sai ban. That seems almost like a target towards Bab and what he was able to achieve last week too.
And this bottom lane is a product of the meta. I don't think it's necessarily a strong bottom lane, but in the mid game, when there was so much kill threat coming out of like every role, like when you talk about like Aatrox is able to 1v1, you know, last game, like what else did we see? We saw Cassiopeia, she's certainly going to be an 80 carry down. When you have a look at it, you got Echo running around, he's going to be an 80 carry down. Ornn probably one-shots an 80 carry at the moment if he's able to get onto them. Braum and Ezreal are just like the tickling bottom lane. Like, they just keep you at arm's length. They like kind of sit there and, you know, they keep you interested in the fight. They're kind of dishing out as much damage as they can. They've got good CC follow-up because, you know, if Braum just tags someone, Ezreal has no problem being able to proc those concussive blows. And it's like a very self-sufficient style lane. What I mean by that is you don't have to revolve a team fight around an Ezreal and a Braum. You can say, hey, Lee Sin, go for your kick. Hey, Ornn, go for the dive on the back line. We don't have an Aphelios or an MF or someone we have to peel for. This is a guy that can be highly mobile. And I think that for the teams that are showing less coordination, this will become a staple because it will survive a lot of laning phases and then it can do some work in the latter stages of the game.
You can come out of that laning phase as a blue Ezreal with a Trinity Force, because that's what Braum can do. Lee Sin locked in as well there for Gravitas, something that Praelis has not shown so far. He's been very heavily involved in the likes of Olaf, Echo, and Elise. Echo being the outlier in that situation when he felt that he could do the justice. And this is going to be Babbitt showing us what he can do on Jarvan. This will be his first game on Jarvan as well.
Yeah, however, he historically is a big Jarvan player, and Praelis also does play a lot of Lee Sin. So these are 2 picks that they're very comfortable with. I like the wombo combo coming out of the Jarvan, Rakan, Misfortune. If Topoon is able to get a good set pickup in there as well. And it's a good counter pick, right? Gives them very good team fight. That's a little bit disappointing for me. I've hyped Human up to be this like heavy assassin player. There are some assassins you can still play into LeBlanc. However, he does go for the nullifying lane here, Skimmy. A little bit more of the fight fire with freezing cold ice, if you will.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a Pokemon battle, right, where we're talking about matchups and all the rest of it. Definitely going to be a case of wanting to try and shut down the M&S show. But Legacy have got a competition with a lot of different diving threats. They can surely overwhelm you with pressure if they come at you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that this Legacy lineup has got really good tools for 1-3-1. I don't think anyone's really going to be able to bother set in the side lane. with the consistent damage he's going to bring. And I think Eminez has already shown that his side lane threat is just out of this world, right? On the flip side, Gravitas have kind of got the all-in, you know, everyone dive, Ezreal, you just stay alive, do as much damage as you possibly can. And we'll see whether that's going to be a winning composition, because I feel like the coordination of Legacy in this game with these drafts should be too much. I feel like, you know, unless Playlist really gets something huge rolling in the early game, the 1-3-1 from Legacy should really be enough to be able to close this one out.
What are we looking at as a primal target here for the set? Is he just aiming the Ornn every single time,
Yeah,
trying
so
to get him out?
pretty much what you want to do is you want to pick the tank up and put him back on the back line. And what I mean by that is, like, if you just grab the first person and group them up, look at what Babib can do in the fight. Look at what Raze is going to be able to do with a little bit of distance, right? The follow-up from Isles can be there as well. So that's a great thing about playing set, is you just make the team fight really small. And lots of comps want actually big spread out team fights, right? The difficulty is going to be if he ever gets bypassed, if a Lissandra can get a flank, if an Ornn can get a flank. That really has to be how the Gravitas lineup make their team fight work.
Well, once again, we're joined by Gravitas' coach Omo. Pleasure to have you as always.
Pleasure to be here as always.
So we jump into this game, obviously going up the one of the favorites in the league, Legacy. How has that affected your preparation going into this one, obviously having a new mid laner?
Yeah, so Legacy was really hard to prepare for. I think it's so far been the hardest team that we had to prep for, because I think they have a lot of flexibility in how they draft and how they want to play out the game. That said, though, the draft went more or less how we expected, so we're still kind of okay coming into this game, but execution would be the most important thing right now.
So back off that point about execution, is that the main objective to come out of this one? Not to sort of take on a defeatist mentality, but are we just looking for, you know, we want to make sure that if we played our game, we played according to the strategy that we deployed, that's going to be a win for us?
Yeah, every game's winnable, right? So I feel like we have an easier to execute team comp, and we have like one clear thing that we want to do, and it's going to be pretty straightforward for the guys to execute, which is pretty much our goal coming into most games.
And I've been pretty vocal that M&S's LeBlanc seems to be crazy strong and that he probably shouldn't be allowed to play it. Was this a circumstance of better the demon you know than the demon you might not?
We really considered banning it. We were talking about this for quite a while, and it's exactly what you said, better the demon you know.
And let me tell, so you just said, you know, you feel like your comp a little bit easier to execute. You've got this all-in team fight comp. They've got a little bit more split push threat. What do you want your guys to get out of this? Is it just even early game into big team fights?
Pretty much. It's a pretty straightforward early game. We just want to focus on our mid jungle, especially at level 6, and then we'll play off of that. And team fights should be pretty straightforward once we get to the stage. It's a little bit concerning if they try to like 1-3-1 us, but I feel like the guys are ready to deal with that.
Beautiful. Well, all the best as always. And we'll catch up with you after this one as we crack on in with Legacy taking on Gravitas. Legacy 4-0, Gravitas 2-2. And they are, Jake, what is the hashtag?
Not that bad.
They are not that bad.
Absolutely, and I think that taking a look at this Ezreal, we see another lethal tempo one picked up. Is getting shoved in the bottom lane a little bit. The disconcerting thing is that K-Pop has taken a ton of damage. He's already rolling through potions. You can see he has biscuits as well, but the poke from this MF lane, I feel shouldn't be that hard. But he's just getting bullied, a little bit skimmy. You can see that Praylist already level 3, flying around Summoner's Rift. Jarvan also goes with a little bit of a strange path. Does chickens, which means he's not going to have potions for sure. And beats. You do not want to be there anymore, my friend.
That is disgusting. Just how much damage Set can bully out there with the grit. Out comes the Haymaker, and well, you are met with a ton of pressure, a big shield, no trading pressure, and forced to burn through those resources. Yeah, I think really for me, the bottom lane is going to be, once again, an ideal place to look at. Obviously with Puma being able to achieve so much on that vein, if he can be the superstar with this Ezreal, try and bully out Raze.
Yeah, and that's going to be the main point, right, is that Raze and Isles haven't had necessarily the best laning phases so far. And Puma has been, I think, a pleasant surprise for a lot of spectators of the OPL. However, Raze and Isles today seem like they have got a really comfortable duo for themselves. And we'll see whether they're able to make this one work. As into the mid lane.
Into the mid lane they go. Siaman does have the flash and will obviously be able to repel away.
He played that really, really nicely there, Skimmy. Was able to actually step forward, hold the thought.
The jump in. Force the flash out there from K-Pop.
Huh. I'm really surprised that got a flash. Oh.
Eminez there maybe getting a little bit too cocky with that one, and he bites the bullet. He gets taken down 4 minutes in for a first blood.
And that is so well played from Praylist. There is no way, if you are Eminez, you can get out of that, because whilst he's invisible, Praylist has tagged him with both of the sight. He's tagged him up with a Q. Flash ease him as well to just ensure that M&S can't play any tricks there.
Yep.
That's going to be first blood in the mid lane. And the fact that it went to jungle in this situation, I actually really like. Because Human is a really safe mid laner. He's not going to get a ton of prio. He's not going to rotate around the map. So it really is on Praylist to be able to win this skirmish. And if Lee Sin gets ahead of Jarvan, he'll just straight up beat him in a 1v1, especially if both are running Conqueror. Maybe now it's a game where Jarvan has to look into something like a Red Smite to try and flip that back in his favor. But BABIP is more of your Cinderhold Jarvan player. And this could be a turning point in a matchup that I think could be really influential. I said my only win condition I gave Gravitas is that Praylist needs to be godlike on Lee Sin. Well, that's the first step to being able to do that.
Definitely so, and he's a big contender when it comes to doing the damage on this team.
Oh, K-pop. You got to be able to land those ones. You can see that what had happened there is they actually zoned Isles back towards it with a tag, and then K-pop went for a Q. But he was behind a minion. Obviously, he doesn't have flash available, and Beats is getting clobbered in the top lane. What's with Ornn's going down like 20 CS at this stage of the game? I didn't think his laning phase was that bad.
I don't think so too, and you're talking about execute ranges where he's dropping down that, slamming on in, you're getting brittle, and you're getting broken.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that this lane's been a little bit of a disaster, and the fact that Praylist, after he got those double longswords, showed bottom lane and didn't really get anything out of it, is a really bad situation for the Gravitas lineup. Because what you want to be able to do as a jungler is obviously have threats in lots of different areas on the map. As soon as you show, that means you don't have that threat. He's now on Vision as well. That means that top lane can just play as freely as they want. Top lane already got that level 6. You can see BABIP heading up there as well. Mid lane has priority. There's going to be a 3-man dive top. No teleport available on Puma. It's going to have to be on Human to maybe teleport up there and be able to turn this one.
Well, he's got the sweeper on out. He's
no
completely
Ornn
clear
yet.
for this one. No level 6, as you say, no ultimate to get himself out of harm's way. They're going to look to try and juggle this aggro as the flash comes out. The teleport response coming in here from Seaman. Can they try and delay for long enough? The Haymaker will not connect, and the teleport gets cancelled as well. So now Beats, he felt safe. He felt doubly safe, but he does get taken on down.
Yeah, and I can't believe that Human gets cancelled there, because that would have been a double kill.
Yeah.
Really would be interested to see where he teleported from. However, you can see Praylist is heading top, has Smite available, and Topoon is by himself. Teleport coming in now as well. See whether they can chase him down.
Second time lucky as Beach joins the fight, not Seaman. So now looking for a 2v1 situation. No flash, no ultimate, no juking potential, it would seem. Can he get clapped into a wall? Out comes the Facemaker. And that is death.
Yeah, and that's really nicely timed to kill, because you can see right now that that's going to allow top lane to get pushed out. That means that if he wants, Beats can walk towards the bottom side of the map. They can go for the Rift Herald flip, and it's going to be in time. You've got to teleport in your wave. That's all that is. I mean, the ideal scenario there is you actually stand where the creep wave is going to cross, and he has to actually dive into you with a W or something like that to be able to actually stop the channel.
A little bit too easy there for Eminus.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really good heads-up play from Eminence, right? We said he went down a kill, but he's already up 10 CS, and he's also stopped Human being able to impact that topside play. It's what great players do. Even when you're at a disadvantage, you find a way to make it work and impact the map, Skimmy. And Eminence certainly showing that he's, if not one of the best mid laner in the OPL at the moment.
How influential do you think jungle difference is going to be in this game? You talk about BABIP being that supporting role to try and get his solo laners online, but then you talk about Praylist being this big sort of contender. He needs to really get online. He's obviously 400 gold ahead so far. Is that a big factor here to talk about?
Well, I want to be really clear that I still think BABIP is a better jungler than Praylist, right? But I think that Praylist is way more important for Gravitas than what BABIP is for Legacy. And what I mean by that is, you know, Legacy can carry from any position. Even Isles has shown like a flair for these engages. Whereas I really do feel like Gravitas' early game, I mean, just look at their lanes. 30 CS discrepancy top lane, 20 CS discrepancy bottom lane, 20 CS discrepancy mid lane. Really is about Praylist being able to get any snowball rolling in the early game. They're already 800 gold behind. They're about to fall behind a Herald as well. And that's why it's just important, right? Yeah, there's no point avoiding the elephant in the room. The players, pound for pound, are just getting a little bit outclassed at the moment, even in counter pick roles. And that means that Praylist needs to be able to have a really good performance.
Well, M&S does have blue buff. And it is allowing BABIP just to continue freely roaming around. Does have the Herald in his possession, and he's going to be looking to try and find a lane to utilize that in, as Tapoon is just keeping Beats locked underneath this tower. And Praylist every single time after clearing those camps, returning to the mid lane, knowing that M&S might get just a little bit too angsty, and the second time it's happened, he gets taken on down.
Yeah, and really nicely done again. That's going to take away the blue buff, going to deny a little bit more farm. They should also have priority to move down into this jungle, which means this bottom lane siege probably needs to stop as well. And it's just about continuing to buy time. This is a composition that if they get to level 11, they're going to do a lot of damage in team fights. And we always keep mentioning, but the ornaments at a certain point just like nullify about 6,000 to 10,000 gold worth of value on the enemy team, right? So it's just something that you have to be continually aware of. And Harpoon's still trading really nicely on the top side of the Summoner's Rift, but mid lane is even at this stage of the game, and it's still only a 500 gold lead, whilst there is a Rift Herald in the back pocket of Babbitt that isn't dropped. Fairly even early game.
Yep, we're not going to get the Bramble Vest or any major armor itemization this time. It is going to be the Cindy. We're going to see some lane pressure to make sure that despite falling so far down as it stands, it will be able to do just a little bit under tower. But Tapoon is definitely putting him in a rough spot, denying as much as possible.
And I am so surprised that bottom lane is not beelining top. They had a fresh recall, and there's really not all that much they're going to fight, unless they're fighting the next dragon, which when you're a tier Sheen Ezreal, I don't want to fight that dragon. Like, they should be moving towards the top side of the Summoner's Rift, because Set takes down turrets so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, if we just get a look at top lane turret for a second, Set is going to be, like, that's one wave. He's taken 3 plates nearly. This next wave crash, he's going to take the turret purely solo.
Yeah.
And he's now going to be up. I mean, we said it was 500 gold. It's now already 1,500, if not more, after this is all said and done, right? And he could have stuck around and taken that turret. And I think there is a genuine 4v5 defense that can happen right now.
Yep, his ability to make things happen in the top lane is something left to be desired, but the bottom lane is where they're looking to try and force the aggression now. Gravitas trying to clap on towards Raze, who flashes on out, won't be a victim of that engagement. That's going to be a knock-up onto 2, into a wall as Babbitt flags and drags away, but Gravitas finding pressure and timing it nicely for Drake.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really nice play coming across from Gravitas. However, I think that is one of those high-risk, high-reward plays. They were able to close the gold gap. Now it's back down. They also burnt, you know, really key summoner spells there on Raze as well. But they did have to use a flash of K-pop as well as a flash of Beats and the ultimate. And there's no way that they save this top lane turret right now. That is certainly falling down this wave just because of how Set clears them out. So I think that, you know, overall, it's going to be a winning trade for Legacy right now. And if they ever get themselves Soul or something. Oh, hold the thought.
They're not finished there. They want more, Jake. They are looking for M&S for the 3rd time this game, but the Cataclysm could be the turnaround they're looking for. The teleport into mid lane is looking to try and start things off with. That's just going to be the denial. Flashes being popped like they are candy.
I mean, as I said, now we're back to 2,000 gold, and Prellis unfortunately missed a Q there. That should have been a guaranteed kill. Coming out of stasis is something that I think threw everyone through the worst, because they changed how long you stay in stasis for by like 0.5 seconds, and ever since that change, must be the audio cue. It just throws pro players off a little bit. Wasn't able to line that one up perfectly. But once again, they got a couple more summoner spells out this time around, and still not bad things happening on Summoner's Rift for Legacy, but if this turret falls, that's going to be 2 turrets down before plates. Probably going to be about 3.5, nearly 4,000 gold, and you know, trying to be as positive as I can for the Gravitas lineup, but Legacy are now starting to take over this early game.
It's a fair bit of damage, a fair bit of structural dominance as well. Is it a major problem, would you say, the fact that the 4 kills are all on Prellis?
No, as I said, I actually like them being on Prellis because I feel like he needs to be the person that actually carries this early game. He's going to look for M&S again.
He's been relentless in his attempts to make sure that the star player knows the RAF.
And if he has kick there, M&S nearly dies, right? Yeah. Prellis has Smite, has Flash available. Can probably one-hit him at this stage. He's gone Kindle Gem. I would have liked to see like just a couple more longswords even picked up, or longsword and Ruby Crystal, because I feel like he needs to be able to do
like
damage.
Full carry mode, yeah.
Yeah, I think like even Boots 2 on Lee Sin. Like I'm a pretty big Lee Sin player. I don't like Boots 2 all that much on Lee Sin. I'd rather have a Phage at this stage of the game and just like be able to do a little bit more damage. Obviously didn't know the timings of his backs perfectly. As Babbitt has spotted out 1, but I don't know if he spotted out 2. And M&S now might be face checking.
All things considered, the pressure in mid lane definitely worked in its favour. It's even at the CS differential. It was definitely so far ahead in the early stages, but obviously now it's singled out to just the top lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Bottom lane, I mean, still 15 CS as well, right? But 60 CS at this stage of the game means Topoon is putting on a clinic. And I think quietly, Topoon has been like the underappreciated member of Legacy. Well, certainly not if you've listened to my commentary, because I talk about him all the time, right? But I feel like this guy is like out and out one of the best players in the entirety of the league. I'm not even talking about just on Legacy. He's an absolute freak show. And we, like, to give a little bit of insight into last year, we were actually more worried about Topoom playing the final series than we were Fudge playing the final series. Now, obviously, Fudge is in North America and playing for C9 Academy. And also, in hindsight, he torched Shorter as well in that final, right? But we really thought Topoom was that good. He plays a great weak side. He also can play strong side. Hold the thought. Isle's in some trouble.
He's in trouble there as the smite goes out, looking to try and get some aggression right there. There's the kick, there's the connect, and there is the damage. He dashes across with the ward. I'm not going for anything more just there. They've burnt enough pressure to make sure that the second Herald can go in their possession.
And they only use one ultimate, right? So they can still take this team fight. They still have Braum ultimate. They still have themselves a Lissandra ultimate as well. You can see already the Beats is off that bottom lane wave looking for a teleport on the top side play. So there's no way Eminez can go for one of those cheeky plays. So really nice play there from Trayless. You can see that he's just super comfortable on the Lee Sin pickup. And he's having a brilliant early game.
To further your point from before about Topoon, he's second to TN, I believe, in stats in terms of KDA, average kills, average deaths. Those are the two teams to watch right now, both Chiefs and Legacy in the driving seat at a 100% win rate. But Topoon, the second highest member on the squad, so definitely the Korean imports paying dividends.
Yeah, and whilst we don't have jungle proximity...
Oh, that's going to be the dash to try and find something under tower right there. A lot of skills connecting. And Puma forced to burn out that flash, but it will give priority across for Legacy to take this tower.
Isn't it great fun playing against Braum? That looked like it was a guaranteed kill.
Yeah.
Like, as you mentioned, so many skills going across, right? But Braum just blocks out 90% of them and is able to save the life of the AD carry. Puma obviously has to burn flash, but at this stage of the game, to not lose a kill, and now to be able to get on Summoner's Rift just that little bit earlier, maybe this is a Rift Herald play on mid lane while they are in full reset, could actually be a situation where Gravitas can nearly look to trade up or at least try and get in position to fight this dragon. Third dragon for Gravitas would be huge, to be honest.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's an Infernal Drake at that, so we're looking at an Infernal Soul. A mini little Luden's Echo, as you called it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not only that, right? It means if you botch this mid-game somehow, they're 4 dragons away from ever being able to pick up a soul. They're 5 dragons away from ever getting themselves an Elder, right? We're not going to see the game end, as we saw last game, in the absolute disastrous teamfight that Elder is able to provide. Eminez now on the flank, however.
That's what he's known for doing. He's done it before, and he'll do it again right there as the Herald doesn't take down mid lane tower. Vision will spot these members out. The Drake will begin as Gravitas start that one off down to about 75%. The disengage does take place. They are standing on a ward. And Legacy quite happy to just keep posturing.
And this is what people like about New Summoner's Rift. Like, the changed landscape of blue buff being burnt out there gives you more area to be able to position. Yeah. They're looking for Eminez, however.
They will spot him out as he's forced to dash away from a Prayless kick. The Drake started again, down to around about half. Is it going to reset? It's going to carry on. The leash goes across now to Gravitas. We're still keeping this flank. Left to right, we're looking at this. Sort of seems a little bit reminiscent of the game where we had the Lucian coming from the Tri-Bush and just pincer maneuvering in.
Yeah, but we'll see whether Eminez is able to get the work done. They still have Beats ultimate. If they just want to call it off and go for the full-on engage, they're funneled into a choke point, and K-pop is so low.
They want to force us right now because these lanes are passively pushing. The Ornn does not connect, but he gets the Ornn turnaround. That's a big slap down onto multiples. Prayless goes for the 1v1. Eminez connects and gets the kill for a shutdown. That's going to be the 2-kill. Raze wants... Actually, sorry, I'm talking about triple kills. Can we get a quadra? Yes, we can. It's Raze doing what he does. The team fight king.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Legacy wipe him there. That's a 5-0, and it looks so good for the Gravitas lineup. They had mid lane priority, they walked in, but they were just so aware of Eminez. And in that situation, I really do think you have to go forward. Prayless trying to peel LeBlanc was honestly detrimental for the team. They needed to go forward a little bit more decisively. In the end, they lose the fight, they lose the dragon, they lose mid lane turret. Now they're 7,000 gold in a hole.
I almost wonder if they're a little bit angsty here because the side lanes are actually pushing, so you can see Gravitas say, we need to do something now.
Yeah, absolutely right there, Skimmy. And I think that, you know, they do go for the play, but Topoon reads it like a book and actually just takes Ornn back into the team top.
Yeah.
And that's what I said it's all about. You know, create that distance for Raze to be able to get to work. He just wasn't under threat for the entirety of that fight. In fact, he was burning his flash very aggressively. And I mean, now 4 kills on the Misfortune, 60 CS up.
Instantly gets a 1k bounty.
Yeah, it was looking good, right?
Yeah.
It looked like Gravitas actually had an idea about how they wanted to play that, but ultimately they kind of botched the engage. Missed both sides of it, and that means now Legacy just in firm control of this game.
Yep, Raze a full item up now, 3k gold, so we're talking big upgrades in that regard. Definitely going to showcase what he can do with that and really hammer home the point of Ezreal's weakness when he doesn't have that Triforce online. That's an Infernal Drake to their name right now. It'll give them some much needed confidence as they carry on this lead.
And the way you got to think about Ezreal, not the Triforce build, but if we talk about the Mana Immune build, Isles needs to be a little bit careful here. Is that, you know, you've got yourself a 2,800 gold item in like the Iceborne Gauntlet. I think it's like, you know, 28-ish, maybe even 2,700 for Mana Immune.
Yep.
Then like 1,000 gold for your Ionian Boots of Lucidity. So, you know, total, we're looking about a 7,000 gold build. Infinity Edge by itself, like 3,800 gold. 3,200 gold for Essence River. Boots 2, Zerka Greaves, 1,100 or whatever they are. You know, already, that's like a 1,500 gold more expensive for Raze.
Yeah.
So as Ezreal, you expect to hit your spike first. And then by 20 minutes, you expect to have upgraded Mana Immune in a lot of professional players. That's why Ezreal's really sought after, because his 2-item spike comes sooner and is stronger than a lot of 80 carries. Now that game, obviously, that's not the case, because he's 70 CS down
The moment's been
and
missed.
4 kills. So he's completely missed the stage of the game where he should be strong. Until 6 items now, Puma will not be stronger than Raze in these team fights.
And that's going to be a bit of a concern right now because it's just going to allow Eminez to carry on doing what he's done on this character, and that's just roam around freely. Vision or not, he just doesn't care. The guy has a death wish. And he will look in brushes where no others will dare to venture into. He's looking to try and posture for this one. Is he going to jump in? He jukes out all the members. Is he going to try and jump back? He is! There's no flash on Lissandra to try and get in here and collapse with that ultimate. They've burnt out the clone. But Legacy just playing with their food at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly are. And again, that's Eminez. No stopwatch, no flash, like diving
Doesn't
into bushes
care.
blind. And he is counting on people not being good enough to punish him. That's all that is. If one Lee Sin Q hits, if he's tagged up by that Braum ultimate, he instantly pops. But just misplay there from Gravitas, and once again, he makes another team look a little bit silly, Skimmy.
He's definitely playing Minesweeper whilst we're playing League of Legends right now because he's hop, skipping and jumping over everything that the opponents can throw his way. The goal difference still sitting around that 7k balance. Not much on the map at this stage as the lanes are still pushed in. Legacy definitely not relenting on that side. All division in their favor with objectives sporting in the next 150.
Yeah, and really quietly. Well, I mean, not so quiet because he did pick up a quadra kill, right? But outside of that, Razor's just been hitting creeps this game.
Yeah.
And he's got himself nearly 100 CS lead. Topoon's still sitting around the 60 CS lead as well. They're just doing a better job of hitting red dots. And a lot of that is because Praelis, since the mid lane turret went down, hasn't had either side of his jungle. So every single time you think of a jungle respawn coming up, you know, 4 creeps from the Krugs, 4 creeps from Raptors, you know, Wolves and Grom. That's 16 creeps every single time that they're just being able to take away. You also put into account that they're also farming out their own jungle. You know, all of a sudden there's 32 creeps every couple of minutes. So they're going to be able to pick up on this Legacy lineup. That means experience heavily going in their favor.
I can take a quick stock check of the map right now. Legacy have all their vision surrounding the top side of the map, all pertaining towards that Baron. And very defensive wards from Gravitas to make sure that not getting invaded on or looking to try and punish the invading members, if you will. But hesitation seems to be what they're looking or dealing with, if you will, as they wait for the ornaments to come online and hope that they can try and find one of those miracle plays, if you will, surrounding the objectives. Baron obviously up. Next Drake up in 35.
And this is one of those games where ornaments aren't going to be a huge factor. Blade of the Ruined King is the ornament that Azrael's going to go for. He doesn't have a Trinity yet, right? So we're talking he's so far off that. Black Cleaver, sure, that's an ornament upgrade, but I think it's one of the worst ones. I think it's only about 1,000 gold. No Death Cap or Luden's Echo going to be picked up for Suman. That's certainly an itemization error in my mind. So he's not going to have an ornament upgrade either. So really, he's got an ornament upgrade himself, and then he's going to yell at his team like, hey, I've got an upgrade waiting in base for you. If you just build an item that I can, and they're just saying, hey, bro, I have no gold. Like, yeah, I would love to build a Luden's Echo at this stage of the game, but unfortunately, I thought I was going to be a little bit more fed than this, given how laning phase was going. Now the game's turned into a bit of a mess for us, and we're in some trouble.
Like an angry merchant on eBay leaving you a 1-star review.
Yep.
As the ulti goes out there from Ezreal, to split push here from Lissandra in that top side of the map, so trading structures for Drake pressure. The flash in from Eminez because he wants to try and take out Puma immediately. Ignite being dropped, followed by the flash, so every summoner in his arsenal, but Puma does survive.
And that's the thing about Eminez, right? He's more than willing to make that trade. He thinks that if he just creates enough space in these fights, then the 290 CS Misfortune will carry. You know what? I'm going to say he's probably right. I'm going to say that at this stage of the game, if Raze can't carry, then he probably needs to have a good hard look in the mirror, because he's got himself 2 Infernal Dragons, he's got himself nearly 300 CS. In fact, he's going to be 298 at 24 minutes into the game. It's not that Puma is farming poorly, it's just that Raze has literally put the entire of Summoner's Rift on cooldown right now.
He's definitely being funneled resources as it stands right now. And what do they say? The average is like 10 CS a minute for a pro?
Yep.
But then I feel like, you know, is that really relevant when in the grand scheme of things, it's can you beat your opponent in lane? And, well, Ray sure can. Definitely sitting in a spot where if he gets shut down, Gravitas find themselves in a situation where maybe, just maybe, with enough resources to survive the rest.
Well, let's take a look at the gold difference, right, between Raze and his opponent. So that's about 4,000 gold at the moment. So if he trades his life for anyone, they certainly win the fight.
Ulti goes out right now. There's going to be a follow-up there. You'd imagine the Cataclysm is soon to follow right now. There's going to be a kick back onto Eminence. He's incredibly low. Prelish jumps on out. Haymaker to his face. Puma does delete Babip, who was creating space and creating pressure. Ray's completely on his own, does have the red buff and will chase down Prelus on the hunt whilst Isles
Not sure about this chase.
is waiting for the rest of his team to follow up in here. Tapoon falling on down. Ray's just getting taken on a miracle run, if you will, when Prelus will be quite happy with that one, but Eminence still deciding whether or not he wants to commit to this. Doesn't have any summoners, may still, however, try and go for it. The lantern, oh, sorry, the chains don't land. Bit of a messy fight all around.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I wasn't sure about the chase, right? Raze could have just left him to his own devices. I mean, at 100 HP, you may as well be dead in a team fight. All you are is 400 gold at that point. Raze would have been able to turn the tide and stop Tapoon from going down. Instead, he did decide to chase. I mean, it's not the worst decision. He's now 5 kills and 330 CS at 25 minutes into the game. But him being removed from that team fight meant that there was a small window where they were going to be able to win it. They've actually gone for the Trinity Force upgrade there for Puma. So they've actually said, you know what, we don't think you're going to get to the Blade of the Ruined King, which is maybe the preferred upgrade. Instead, we're just going to go with Trinity Force. Certainly respect that at this stage of the game. You just need the gold efficiency, right? Anzonya's Hourglass can also be upgraded. Once again, not the most efficient upgrade going to be there, but it is certainly going to be there. So
it's a decision, right?
Maybe closer than I had given them credit for.
Decision that you've got to actually make, being realistic to yourself, taking a sort of sit down and going, well, look, hey, realistically, are we going to be able to stall this game out to that point?
Yep, and I think the answer is no, right?
And I think so too, right? So it's like, look, let's sort of revolve around to that Elixir argument again. Look at our situation in bot lane, look at our situation when it comes to mid and top. We need as much power as possible right now because we are looking at a Baron that's still being danced around. We're looking at, you know, Dragon Soul that's still at 2-2 piece. Objectives are definitely still contestable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, now this comes down to, can we get a cheeky Baron steal? Can we get a cheeky team fight? Like, can we do what Avant was able to do last game to be able to stall this game out? Because that's exactly what they got. They got like a 3-for-3 team fight, but there were a couple of shutdowns in there for Chaz, and they got themselves a Baron, right? Which just delayed the game for a couple of minutes. And I really think that that's what Avant's mindset should be. Like, we need a miracle to happen, but the only way we're going to get that is by being proactive. We have conceded as much on Summoner's Rift as we can. Dragons, maybe they still don't care about, right? Maybe you still give them any dragons they want, but I think anything on the top side of Summoner's Rift right now, they should be willing to fight for.
The 1v1 taking place right now. Seeming going to get himself out of harm's way. Does have flash if need be, but not looking like a factor at this stage. Eminence jumps back in, going to clone himself out. As Banshee's Veil does find its value. Going to jump in again, looking to try and deny that teleport. Chain CD wasn't available.
And I mean, Human, if he's a little bit more decisive there, probably kills Eminez, who still doesn't have his flash available. However, once again, Eminez is just so confident in these plays that he looks for. He's saying, you know what, guys, I will mechanically outplay. You know, make the complete rotation. I'm going to keep him here. They also get a big cooldown. You know, one of the ways they would be able to get one of those miracle team fights is by using that flank teleport coming across from Human, being able to shut down a lot of that. But now not going to have that tool available. Puma teleporting back into the mid lane.
Double teleport comes out here as they look to try and start things off. Ideally looking for a pick before they contest and start off this Drake. Would like them to fight around this Drake again. It worked pretty well when Tapoon got that slam dunk last time. Giving Raze all the room to work with as they started it, and boy, are they shredding it. It's already gone before a chance is even allowed to happen. They flank from multiple angles right now as Eminence gets clapped upon. 3 members say hello. You will not flank us this time. The Ornhorn getting juked on out by the slam dunk from Tapoon as he goes large. Bullet time not finding as much damage as they like as such, but B's going in for the flash knock-up, trying to make him brittle, trying to get that much needed shutdown gold. Tapoon is low, he has grip, but does he get the haymaker? Oh, one beautiful dodge in the way of a body block to make sure he doesn't fall on down, but Puma does snipe away Babip in the end.
Trailers.
They are finding this one. It is scrappy, but it's a double kill for Puma despite how far he is, but Raze will start to take over the show. Raze looking for that pentakill. He does get denied on the Quadra, but Seaman was so close.
And that was once again one of those scrappy team fights where it looked like it was going back and forward. However, in the end, it is once again the team fight 80 carry in Raze that keeps his team's hope in this game alive. That was nearly a 4v5. MLS just gets caught out and blown up. And now without Human's teleport, this should be the Baron going across to the Legacy lineup.
3 Infernal Drakes to your name. That's a lot of AD and AP. Now you got the Baron online, and they'll be able to shred through this one without a doubt. Eminence they're going to rock up too. The whole of Legacy are online, so they're all going to receive this buff. And I can't see Seaman doing anything crazy here to try and sneak away a kill. So, driving seat definitely in favor of the boys in green.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Legacy, they've had a couple of close calls this game. That was once again, let's take a look at it. So already Eminence is dead, 45 seconds, but Tapoon just buys so much time. With the grit, with the fact that he's already built himself up a stone plate, he's just going to be very hard to deal with. And I think he gets off 3 rounds of a massive shield in this fight, which just keeps him alive. Once again, cannot understate the effectiveness of Braun and Ezreal as a combo, but I think Puma going forward here was a mistake. Having to burn the flash means that he's now not safe in this team fight.
Yeah.
And you can see he constantly wants to E forward for maximum damage, but the way you play Braum and Ezreal, you really do have to play the skirting of the fight and just hit frontline. Wasn't disciplined enough to be able to do that. Still did a lot of damage for his team, but you know, he's not as fed as Raze at this stage of the game. In a straight-up duel, if you can't keep the MF at range, she's going to destroy you.
Well, you saw what she did. Got 2 shot, essentially.
Yep.
As Raze came in there with a fair bit of vengeance. Now 400 CS. This guy is a monster.
They're going.
They are indeed going for this time. They're going to look for Tapoon, but both Tapoon and Babip are just so tanky at this stage. How do you take them down? They just buy time for their carries to get the job done. Baron-inspired minions sticking as a 5-man A room. Top lane is pushing in, but the focus is on mid.
But look at Puma. Puma does really good damage at this stage of the game. He got himself to the 3-item mark. He has got the ornament upgrade on the Trinity Force. And now we'll see whether he can actually...
Rayless is on the flank. He was hunting. He was getting a bit of a sniff on there for LeBlanc.
Puma really wants in. You can
He
see
does.
he was
Yes!
honestly thinking about going over that wall. He's like, can I kill him before I die? Which is never the attitude you want out of your 80 carry. You want to be the last man alive nearly every fight.
Out goes the bullet time. The damage is just disgusting onto that bottom lane for Gravitas. They're completely zoned away from this fight. Now it becomes a 3v5. Prelus actually coming in from the back end. So technically speaking, this is a 2v5 defense. The inhibitor is just completely defenseless. And Legacy are laughing.
Prelus is really looking here, however. Ultimate does go across. They know that Raze is on the top lane turret.
He is shredding that turret down. That's the second inhibitor in their midst. Will they look for this fight? MS keeps flirting with danger. Valentine's special, that's for sure. 11 kills to 10, very close in that department. But Gravitas, you just always have the inkling that they have that lifeline.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what Gravitas are playing for is just an overstep from someone like Raze. Now, the problem is he has QSS. So as soon as he has Flash available, you can actually QSS Flash the Lee Sin kick, which is kind of the guaranteed engage here. Or an ultimate. Also, you can QSS Flash as well. So I think that they need to make something happen before that Summoner Spells comes back up and available. Maybe it's going to be around this Dragon. Maybe they can catch Eminez out being a little bit over-aggressive. He's once again very far ahead of his team.
Infernal Drake up in 25.
Oh, he's gotten away with it again, Skimmy. Like, they just don't know where he is. He might one-hit Puma.
Looking for beats. He's going to juke on across here. Yeah, the members of Gravitas are terrified. It's like a game of chicken at this stage. He's in a playground, and he's definitely not making friends, that's for sure.
Here we go.
An ultimate comes out, the teleport to follow. The slam dunk does the damage to Poon. What are you doing right now? Bullet time just does work, but the knock up onto free, it just won't be enough. Beats are so squishy at this stage, despite the 2-item crutch. The tanks of Legacy are getting work done. DPS, assassin, tank build or not, they are taking down numbers. The Drake has completed 4 to their name and a soul. you are looking at disgusting amounts of damage right now. 16% amplification with a Luden's Echo just to tickle your fancy as well. That is going to be the wipe. That is them going for the Nexus. And that is them going for the win as the second one falls on down. 34 minutes is where we get in this affair. And Legacy gets the ace.
And I mean, that's going to be a continued 5-0 start to the split of 2020 for Legacy. Raised once again with some terrific team fights. Topoon on the set, making it look near unkillable, to be honest, Skimmy. That was just an all-around good team performance. I mean, there were moments there where it looked like Gravitas might have the team fights. But when your AD carry is 5,500 gold down, it is just going to be so tough. And that was a situation that Gravitas found themselves in. Legacy continue to roll.
And it's interesting because, you know, going into this one, statistically speaking, that bottom lane ADC role, they were so close together. Ray's obviously far more acclaimed in that regard with the organizations he's been a part of and how much experience he's had, but they were just able to get him online. They were able to do what Raze does best, dominate team fights. And as you say, highlighting those points, when the damage is there, Ezreal becomes a non-factor. 5-0. Pretty nice record to start off a new split.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still think on the flip side that Gravitas had moments in that game where they would be
100%.
super happy with as well. They got themselves off to a 2 or 3 Dragon head start. They were able to get Prayless rolling in the Lee Sin matchup. But ultimately, I think that whilst they did have a really good team fight composition, it was so hard for them to play the 1-3-1. And that's why Legacy was able to accrue so much more farm than what the Gravitas lineup does. And items do matter in League of Legends, Kimmy. And I think we just saw that Raze smacked him in the face with a checkbook.
Yeah, he was a very happy man there with a composition allowing him to sit from afar, do the damage, and I like how Prayless is the only one on that team that has his name on the back. The superstar of that team, a superstar Lee Sin performance. Let's chuck it back to the boys on a fancy Valentine's Day.
Just feel great. You know?
Look, it's a very comfortable
It's Friday
way to
night viewing of the OPL. It's casual.
Babbitt, welcome. Happy Valentine's Day, mate.
Do I need to drink it?
Cheers.
What is it? Poison?
No. It's just sweet cranberries, drenched in alcohol. It's just sweet cranberries. It's actually way too sweet and it's very disgusting. Congratulations. I don't know if you saw our segment beforehand, but we were reading out Valentine's Day poems. Both Jake and I wrote one about the inevitable success of Legacy.
Yep.
And then we were worried that we jinxed you at one point there in the game.
Yeah, I was worried too at a point in that game. Nah, I wasn't really worried actually. Quinn can always rely on Quinny K.
He was insane.
Yep.
Yeah. Comfortable win for you guys despite that?
I mean, it's like one of those things where like a win's a win, but it's still pretty disappointing because like, Gravitas is a bit of a weaker team in the league. Mm-hmm. I think Prayless played well, but stuff to work on.
Yeah, I mean, it's even hard to find something to talk about too much about the game itself. You know, it came down to the one big fight really, where it did look scary for you guys, and then you hit the team fight. So it was, you know, Topoon with the big execution. And what is it like playing with him now that he's switched teams? You've still been with him, and he doesn't have someone replacing him. How's Topoon?
He has impressed me a lot this year, especially like last year. He had some, I guess, like personality issues. Like he didn't really like accepting responsibility, and he wanted others to carry all the time. Like he wanted to be like in the back, you know, like go on guys, you carry, I'll sit in the back. But like this split, it feels like pretty much all the top dives, he's always calling them. Like it's never like me, it's always him. He's always like setting me up for these top dives, and yeah, I'm really liking our synergy right now.
Sounds like he's changed a lot.
Yeah, he has.
It's like a big maturity development.
I guess it's just like when you're a rookie, you sort of just don't want to have the reins. Like I was that on Chiefs. I just wanted, you know, you guys go carry. I'll just play the tank.
Is it like feeling out the scene a little bit because you don't want to be responsible?
Yeah, you don't want to screw up and that's your oh look at this guy, he's so bad. Like you just want to be safe and no criticism. But now he's matured and he's really good.
Speaking of not screwing up, if I were to ask you out next Valentine's Day, what is your ideal Valentine's Day date? Keep it PG.
My ideal Valentine's date from you.
Well, from anyone, but I guess
Just
I'm just
general,
saying, like,
just in
it
general.
doesn't need to be from me. From me, I
don't know.
assume we would be in different houses is your ideal Valentine's Day date.
I guess just a dinner in Sydney, in the city somewhere.
Fancy or like cozy? Do you want to go to like Cafe
Cozy.
Sydney and cozy?
Cozy or fancy. depending
literally,
on.
I just need to put some food in you.
Hopefully not.
Cozy,
with this.
cozy, like
Cozy?
like a hurricanes. I guess that's not really cozy. It's
No, yeah, get
very
some
loud.
ribs in you. Yeah, get
some
some of that.
ribs, and then
I
maybe
know what you
like
mean,
pool
though.
Ribs and pool.
No, that's
and
good.
some beers.
That's a good
I'm
date
ready for that.
That's
Yeah.
a great date. That hurricane sauce as well.
Ribs, pool, and hurricanes.
I would baste myself in that. All right, well, there you go. A good Valentine's Day win for Babbitt. We'll be back right after this.
Does not connect, but he gets the arm turnaround. That's a big slap down onto multiples. Prelus goes for the 1v1. Evidence connects and gets the kill for a shutdown. That's going to be the 2-kill. Raze wants, actually, sorry, I'm talking about triple kills. Can we get a quadra? Yes, we can. It's Raze doing what he does. One beautiful dodge in the way of a body block to make sure he doesn't fall on down, but Puma does snipe away Babbitt in the end.
Prelus.
They are finding this one. It is scrappy, but it's a double kill for Puma despite how far he is. But Raze will start to take over the show. Raze looking for that pentakill. An ultimate comes out, the teleport to follow. The slam dunk does the damage to Poon. What are you doing right now? Bullet time just does work, but the knock up onto 3, it just won't be enough. Beats are so squishy at this stage, despite the 2-item crutch. The tanks of Legacy are getting work done, and that is them going for the win as the second one falls on down. 34 minutes is where we get in this affair. And Legacy gets the ace.
Introducing Macca's Mini Games. Play today and win on the My Macca's app.
Woo! Winning!
Every play wins one of your Macca's faves.